their skin had changed color because they were scared. There were firefighters that thought the fire was going to consume them, and out of fear, the skin had turned pale. That's absolutely fantastic. He went to London. He was somewhere in London, and the kids running after him, trying to scrape off the dark color of his skin from him, thinking he was covered in soot.
This is Africa, the cradle of mankind's birth, where powerful kingdoms arose with stories of worth. A youth-filled land, the youngest population, with diamonds and cocoa from its fertile foundation, exemplary leaders, their legacy told. Nkrumah, Mandela, their spirits bold. From Johnson Sirleaf's Liberia, where freedom lies, and her first female leader, so wise. Let courage and dreams unite as one for a brighter tomorrow where greatness is spawned. In this beautiful, colorful, and friendly domain, greatness awaits, where hopes shall not wane, where tales of triumph weave a tapestry. Welcome to Today in African History.
The beautiful Camilla Williams, who was born in 1919 on this day, October 18th. She sadly passed on in 2012. She was a professional opera singer, was born in Danville, Virginia, to Fanny Carey Williams and Cornelius Booker Williams. So Camilla Williams, the beautiful Camilla Williams, she was a professional opera singer who was born on this day, October 18th, 1919 in Virginia, United States of America. Next, on this day, Wynton Marsalis was born. The year was 1961. He is a renowned American musician known for his trumpeting, composing, and teaching abilities. He was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, United States of America. He has won 9 Grammy Awards promoting the sanctity and depth of jazz and classical music. So pictured here again is Wynton Marsalis, a renowned American musician known for his trumpeting, composing, and teaching abilities. Born on this day in 1961. So it's a happy birthday to Wynton Marsalis. He was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, United States of America. Won 9 Grammy Awards promoting the sanctity and depth of jazz and classical music. This channel is not just about the famous people, the basketball players, the rappers, the actors, those who are well known to most of us. This man probably is not as well known as a lot of the so-called A-list stars, but he's a very talented man who's won 9 Grammy Awards promoting the sanctity and depth of jazz and classical music. So Wynton Marsalis, again, is a happy birthday to another inspiring American man, not just a black American, but an American man who's inspired millions of people who enjoy his music worldwide. Happy birthday, Mr. Wynton Marsalis. Next, also on this day, born on this day, 10 years before Wynton Marsalis, is novelist, editor, and educator, pictured here, Terry McMillan, was born on this day. Like I said earlier, the year was 1951. Of course, you didn't know who he was, but yes, her name is Terry McMillan. Miss McMillan has been acclaimed for her books Mama, Disappearing Acts, Waiting to Exhale, and How Stella Got Her Groove Back. The latter two books being made into screenplays. So the famous editor, and novelist Terry McMillan was born on this day in 1951. Known most likely for the book How Stella Got Her Groove Back, another inspiring black lady from the United States of America. So it's a happy birthday to Miss Terry McMillan, born on this day in 1951. So if you haven't read her books, go check out her books again. How Stella Got Her Groove Back, Disappearing Acts, Waiting to Exhale, and Mama. Some of her books have been turned into screenplays. Last but not least, for the 18th of October, his name is Charles Anderson Edward Berry, better known as Chuck Berry. He's popularly considered the father of rock and roll. He was born on this day, 18th October 1926, in St. Louis, Missouri, to Martha and Henry Berry, who were grandchildren of slaves. His ancestors had migrated from the rural South to Missouri to look for work during World War I. His parents were positive influences on Berry's life. His mother was one of the very few African American women who had gained a college education, and his father was an honest, hard-working carpenter and an ordained minister of the Antioch Baptist Church. Berry grew up in an entirely segregated black community and hadn't even encountered a white person until the age of 3. Now listen to this, guys. Listen to this. When he saw white firemen putting out a fire, so essentially he hadn't met any white person until he was 3. Yep, that's a young age to meet a white person for the first time. It's, I guess, not unusual. A lot of white people don't see black people until they're in their teens and 20s in some countries. Hint, hint. Anyway, so he later recalled his surprise at seeing them, thinking their skin had changed color due to fear. So this fireman, he thought as a kid that their skin had changed color because they were scared. They were firefighters that thought the fire was going to consume them, and out of fear, the skin had turned pale. That's absolutely fantastic. It reminds me of a story in the early 80s that my uncle recounted to me about 30 years ago, I think it is now. His first visit to the United Kingdom, and he went to London. He was somewhere in London, and the kids running after him, trying to scrape off the dark color of his skin from him, thinking he was covered in soot. So this was back in the day when the coal mines, most of the coal mines in the UK were still operational, and it was common for white folks to go into the coal mine and come out looking almost black, essentially. So they thought this is a white man who had soot all over him and tried to rub the dark skin of my uncle off him, or the dark color, the dark soot, which they thought obviously was soot. So essentially, Chuck Berry experienced the opposite. As a kid, he thought this white fireman had gone pale out of fear. Absolutely fascinating story. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's the end of today's Today in African History. You know, we come across interesting stories like this nearly every single day in our world. It's not just about racial equality and stepping up as black men or black women. We highlight not just the positives, but funny stories as well. You know, stories that tickle one's imagination and just makes us smile. We don't want to take this race thing too seriously. Sometimes we overlook some things and just smile and move on with our lives. You know, it is what it is, and we just have to smile about some things and move on. Racism is not just one-sided as well. Some of us who are African Americans or Africans from the African continent, or British black people, or wherever we are in the world, we also have issues with racism, you know, against white people, because we think that white people are racist against black people, which is simply not true. We need to separate the wheat from the chaff, or the chaff, whatever it's called. Yes, wherever we see racism, call it by its name, but handle it with tact. Don't go all guns blazing, as they say. We have to be wise, we have to be tactful, and handle inequities, inequalities, apartheid, racism, all the isms that have affected us for generations. Handle them with tact, and hoping that these issues are resolved in a good way, to our satisfaction, to the satisfaction of everyone involved. There's no need to resort to violence. One of the men that I admire greatly is Nelson Mandela. He started off with violent opposition, aggressive opposition, but he ended up a man who had forgiven those who incarcerated, who put him in jail for 27 years. That was a third of his life. And yet he forgave them, came out of prison and became president of South Africa. So if there's anything you want to do in life, put your mind to it, work hard, work smart, surround yourself with mentors, surround yourself with smart people, with wise people, with hardworking people, not people who would pull you down, not people who are smoking all sorts of drugs and messing up their minds, and they don't have any ambition. You should stand out as different. It's important because you can change the course of history. When you do well, you influence other people around you to do well as well. There's a knock-on effect, there's the virtuous cycle that goes on. Society in general becomes better. Crime is lower. Now, if you did the opposite, society gets worse, crime gets worse, and you will be directly affected. There's no running away from that. As long as you remain in that society, you will be directly affected. So it's a good thing to be positive and to work hard and work smart and surround yourself with people who would build you up as a man or as a woman. Gone are the days when we blame other people for where we are. We have to take our own future in our own hands. Thanks for dropping by. If you're dropping by once again, if you do like what we're sharing here and you've been here before, you haven't liked any of the videos, do like the video. We appreciate the like, the thumb up, the share, turn on your notification bell as well. Subscribe to the channel, that would be very, very helpful. Same for you if you're here for the first time. If you do like what we're sharing here, do help our young fledgling channel grow by giving us a thumb up, turn on your notification bell, obviously subscribing to the channel first, and then sharing the video. That would be fantastic. Thanks for dropping by. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.